This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission success.
How do we
Everyone's
do this?
sick. No one wants to do this. And thank
John,
you for listening.
Hey, John, do you feel good?
I feel great.
That's not the
Danny.
right
How
answer.
do you feel? Oh,
Nope.
nope.
The answer is nope. You don't feel
Nope.
good. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
DC, do you feel good?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
I feel
Oh, is that what we're
fine.
watching?
We're watching
Yeah,
Nope.
fine.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah, we watched
hopefully
Nope.
Hopefully
Nope,
that's the
nope,
one
nope,
we
nope,
all
nope.
watched.
We watched a Nope.
2022
Yes, we
movie.
did.
This movie is directed by Jordan Peele and written by Jordan Peele. It's his
Yep.
third movie. And
His next movie is going to be called We. His movie after that will be
I
don't know. Followed by Yep, which will be one of his
Yep.
more life-affirming comedies.
Well, that's the only joke you can make
Yep.
on this one. So
Is that
way
it?
to
That's
get
right.
that in there,
I
John.
just got to get it out of the way. Now we can all go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. Good for you.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. You're welcome.
Yeah.
John, it's your turn to go first.
Yeah. Okay. So I really like this movie. I also suspect I'm going to like it more upon rewatching.
Nice.
So this is like I don't know, like a really good album. Like when I've listened to something that I haven't really heard very much of before, or it's kind of a different style, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I don't know if I get it, but I like it, and I don't hate it. It doesn't bother me, and that's kind of the feeling I have watching this movie. I don't feel like it doesn't explain everything to me. And I started to watch one of the special features because we had to buy it because it's $20, but it's for a good cause. Again,
was it
Jordan
the Shadows?
Peele and their production, his production company. Yeah, I started to watch some of that, or it was like a 50-minute one. Yeah,
Yeah, Shadows, the making of Nope.
Yeah, it was really cool because it really shows him directing the shit out of this movie.
Yep.
He is just in there telling people what to do in a very friendly way, but man, he really seems to be coordinating a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
So it's really cool to watch. But no, the movie doesn't hold your hand at all. It just lets things happen. It doesn't try too hard to explain itself. And so there's all these parallels. Oh, by the way, people should watch this, I think.
Oh, yeah,
I think-
that's what we
yeah.
usually do with new movies,
Is that
right?
what this
Before-
is? This is the whole
Right.
point of this is, yeah.
I know. I think
So we're
this
going
is
to
a great
spoil
one.
stuff, and this is a new one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good call on that one, John.
I think it's a good one to go in.
So
and
John's
just
a definite
experience.
yes there. TC, what do you say?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
also yes or no? All right, just give it TC.
All
I also
right,
think
we're going to move on
That's
to
all right.
Denny.
That's okay.
I also
Yeah.
think people should watch this. Just
Yeah.
maybe if you can watch movies just for how they look and the production value, maybe. If you're like good at going with that as like a reason to watch a movie, then definitely watch this movie.
Oh yeah, the production's good, but I also really like how the story, it doesn't feel like it's holding my hand. It's just drawing. There's a bunch of analogies to be made. There's a bunch of parallels in terms of like the monkey or the chimp, and sort of like that it's an animal that has been sort of like exploited. And then you have the horses, same thing. And then you have the actual creature that again, it's just all this sort of like lining up of all these things that they're sort of like, well, thinking of the spectacle of an animal and what we do about it, and then also just what people do around spectacles. So I don't know. I just really felt like this movie was just really like very confident and did not treat me as stupid, and that might annoy some people, and it might seem like it's not very well put together in some ways because
Or
it
you might
doesn't-
say that they didn't know what they wanted to say.
yeah, there is that. So that might be what it is, but I don't know. I actually feel like it's just more.
Should have watched
maybe
more of
it's
the special
nu-
features, John.
It's more nuanced than what I'm used to. I don't know. Oh yeah, and the special features, like we don't know what we were doing. Sexy
Yeah.
vampires, sexy
Exactly.
vampires.
They didn't know what they were
Right?
doing, but that's what he wanted to do something where he didn't know what he was doing. He
Scary
wanted
monster.
He
Scary
intentionally
monster.
kept it open ended because, yeah, we can get into like what his
Okay.
main goal of the movie was, but
But I
that
liked it.
was not
I
one
sort
them.
of like it's different. And what would you compare this to? Oh, comparer of things.
Oh, yeah, Denny. Well, that's a good question.
A lot of things. I think this movie is like a lot of other movies. You're talking like specifically story wise.
No, I just the overall feel of it.
I get a
where-
Django Unchained feel from like the way it looks.
Because to me, this feels really competently put together, competently
like Django
acted,
Unchained.
shot, everything.
I mean, to me, this seems like mostly a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's like he's trying to make a Tarantino movie, like
So
Django
does
Unchained.
it feel like and like Django or like a number of Tarantino movies? Arguably, it sort of has a really strong premise, but then just wanders away from itself. Sort of.
I think this
not knowing
movie
where to
wanders
go.
the entire time, and I don't necessarily have
Yeah,
any
it's
problems with that.
it's a meanderer.
Yeah. I mean,
I know,
there's
I
that
actually-
whole dialogue. They
There's
choose
really
to
good
spend,
spots.
Yeah.
And there's really bad spots.
They choose to
That's
spend
how I
3
see it.
minutes on the story of Chris Kattan in the SNL with the Gordy. Like that seems like a kind of a rejected Quentin Tarantino piece of dialogue right
kind
there.
of thing. Yeah.
That's what I get out of that. I don't mind it,
Maybe,
but it
I
just
don't
seems
know.
like a little.
I liked the scene
it's
though.
not-
There was
not
a
gonna
lot
scene-
that didn't have to happen
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
And I thought it ended 3 times.
I don't mind that though. I agree with you.
no,
That
we're not.
bothered me.
Oh, here we
Because I was
go
like,
again.
you're not
Okay.
serious. This movie's still going?
TC with his 3-act fucking book over here.
Oh
If it
my
doesn't
God, it was
follow
so
what
bad.
he's learning, it's automatically
Oh, man.
bad.
Not even. That's not true. It ended 3 times.
And then, yeah,
The story ended.
But, so
Yeah.
I like
It
the
did.
char-
You're interested.
yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm saying.
I don't
It
know.
ended 3 times. You
But
don't
I really liked
need
it. Nikki and I
Yeah.
both watched it. We both really liked it. We both felt that this
I didn't
was
say I didn't like it. I'm just saying it ended 3
I'm
times.
just being grumpy over here.
It's not grumpy.
You get 3
It's the
movies for the
truth.
price of one.
What are you
the fuck are
talking
you complaining
about?
about?
All right,
You got
fine,
3
I'll
endings.
shut it. You
Most
guys go
movies
nuts.
just give you 1 ending. You got 3. You're getting spoiled, and you're going to be bitchy
Oh fuck
about
you!
that.
You guys would be if you guys were not into it as much, you'd be saying the same fucking
I know.
thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. It's fine. I don't
Yeah.
care. I
I'll
honestly
say
don't care.
everything. If it's good, it's good. TC. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's good, it's good.
But
that's all.
But I think I'm going to
Yeah,
like
I
it
don't
more
know
the
if it
next
was
time
good.
I watch it, and I'll just see.
I
Denny,
won't.
I'm sure you've seen this more than once.
I
but
liked it more the second time.
I suspect I will
jeez.
too, just because
I don't think I could watch this one a
This
second
movie
time.
just has a very, even though it's like a horror, science fiction, all of that. It has
Is
a
it?
very
Because it seemed like
relaxed.
maybe a comedy, and then maybe it was a drama. I
It's
mean, they didn't
everything.
know what the fuck
It
they
has a
wanted to
very
do in this thing at all.
Well, it has a very relaxed feel to it, which I think I
yeah,
kind of like.
and dude, there was plenty of parts where I was like, oh, I'm like hooked, and then the next scene, I'm like, why does this movie suck? You know, I mean, it was like it was a roller coaster of good and bad, which
See,
is fine.
You got to
but they
feel
could have
everything.
cut out
Some
so
movies
much
just make
shit.
you feel good all the time. That's not what you want.
That's
It gives
well,
you
so yeah.
variety.
I don't understand.
Lots
Yeah,
of
never mind.
endings, good movie, bad movie, all in one. It's awesome.
All right, John, your day's coming. You're gonna have a real shitty
Oh,
podcast soon.
I get to have those all the time. No, I get it. I really like the feel of it. I just wasn't. I think I came in thinking, oh, it's going to be sci-fi monster movie, and was expecting something different. And once I got around that, but also I don't know. I don't know how to describe the way I felt like the movie was. Maybe it was going different places, but it still felt like there were subtle ways that this all fit together that I wasn't quite picking up on, and I was okay with that. If I can watch it more and be more comfortable and just sort of see how all this fits together,
That might
maybe
make you
upon
just
repeated
more
watchings.
disappointed. I think
Right,
if that's
I
what you're
know.
looking for,
Right.
you might be more disappointed on the second viewing because
Possibly,
all they really
possibly.
do is they make connections that have no meaning. They
Right.
connect like the Gordy segment in a number of ways. Like there's balloon
Right.
popping
It like
and the
bookends
Gordy.
it, but for no real
Yeah.
reason, other than to like start it and end it with
Right.
something really memorable, and then you can just kind of forget about all the shit in
At
between.
least hearing them talk about it when they're like, well, it's also about like, kid stardom and how the chimp is kind of like the star, and then how like there's the horses.
Yeah, well, what else
that
is
are
it about?
kind
How
of
many things
in-
are we going to get to it?
Yeah.
It's about a lot of
line
things,
up the thing.
and it doesn't have
Yeah.
very much to say about a lot of the stuff. And
Yeah,
his
it's
like
like, yeah.
the
Last time I checked, that is not the barometer of what I would expect to be amazing filmmaking. But
Yeah, I know,
unless
but I was
you're a
happy,
cinematographer,
Well, no, but I also, again, that's why I was not annoyed by this either. I found it
I
interesting.
wasn't either. I'm just
I found
saying.
it different.
TC's got to go
and-
next because I'm confused.
Okay,
Sounds like he's
yeah,
coming
either
in
way.
hot, but then you're like backpedaling each time.
Oh, TC. Oh, yeah.
Keep
I'm
going,
just
John.
making statements. Y'all are taking them in a way that doesn't make
yeah.
any sense because
It's
I'm
okay.
just making statements.
You just make statements. I will say this. I like it. I like the acting. I like the way things were shot. I thought the ideas were interesting. The characters were interesting. And I liked each of the things. And I wasn't sure how it all fit together, but I still liked all the different pieces that were there too. So I actually walked away from that going, that seemed different and I enjoyed it. And normally I would hate something like this. I think that felt too disjointed or too meandery. And that the film is meandering and I still really like it. And I'm interested to watch it again is to me an achievement. It makes me really like the film even more because of that.
Nothing wrong with
just
that.
because it's odd. It's just not something I'm used to, especially in alien sci-fi kind of thing. So I just am kind of impressed by that and puzzled at the same time. So like if I think it was good, I think it was good. And I'd recommend it to people just saying, this is different. This is something this feels like a different kind of film. And I don't know how to categorize it, but I liked it. It was very competently done, well acted, well shot. And so that's why I sort of walk away a little puzzled, but like not unhappy. Okay, I can
Fair.
stop talking. You can. I mean,
That's fine. There's
I'm
nothing
nodding.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was generally my first viewing experience too. TC, what did you think?
I think that I had nothing. I didn't dislike it. It was a movie that had, like you said, very good production, very good, acting in it. Sometimes was good, sometimes not so good. But the story went nowhere. I mean, the story was all over the place. It was up and down. You didn't know what was going on. You didn't really need to know what's going on either. And on top of it, it started and stopped and started and stopped. So yeah, if you're looking for writing, maybe not the piece. But I mean, for all the other stuff, I thought it was kind of crazy with the CG look. They fitted in nicely. Like it was comically going over the mountain sometimes, and other times it was scary as fuck. But I think it depends on what you're looking for, and I think it is a movie you could definitely go see once. I don't see myself seeing it more than once, but yeah, I
bought it, so I might as well.
For me,
it was
I got bored
Same.
often and was often distracted doing something else. And then you jump back in, and that was fine because there'd be some really tense moment, and they did a really good job at something, right? So like there were these production moments where you'd be lost in the sound, the visuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it would cut into some other fucking thing that didn't make any sense to the story, or they'd pass it to douchebag with the blonde hair, who was pretty funny, mind you.
I thought it was funny,
But like he wasn't. All he was there to do is push the plot forward. He was like the MacGuffin, right? He was the MacGuffin. He was just sitting there he would show up, and then the plot would meander some other way. And
he
so,
wasn't a
know.
main character in this movie
At all.
The
But
guy,
he
no,
was
they
because
were trying out
he
all these
pushed
people.
the whole movie together.
Well, right, but they
Well,
were trying out this
wrote the script
character.
around him,
Yeah,
didn't
he came in to try out, and he did something so different than what he was going for. But he liked what the guy was doing, so he's like, "Dude, I like what you did, but I'd have to rewrite the script to fit you in. Fuck it, I'm going to rewrite the script." And that's
funny.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I mean, you can see it there.
They were
obviously.
having fun all the way across the board, right? This is just like throwing against the wall.
Certainly,
see what
people were
sticks.
talking that way. That they felt, just in the little bit of the extra feature that I watched, the crew was talking about how collaborative this felt, how Jordan Peele encourages people with their ideas,
It's fun.
and that he's like very respectful of the people around him. And it looks like that.
Yeah, no, I
that-
think they did a great job. I just think if you're watching it for the story, it's not the movie.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean it's not good or bad, or not bad.
Yeah, it's not at all typical. And normally I would be very annoyed with it. That's why I kind of like am impressed. It's
Yeah,
like-
I think if I didn't get distracted frequently towards the end, I'd been happier about it. But I mean, a couple of times when the story started back up again, I'm like, there is no fucking way we have to watch another 20, 30 minutes of them fighting this stupid thing, right? Oh my God, we have to watch them do this again. So, I mean, like, and then they all got there to that cool scene where they suck them all up and they go inside the thing, right? And like, I just remember sitting there thinking, like, oh, man, they just went on such nonsense just to get to that scene. Like they had these utility scenes that were just there just to funnel.
It was
them
worth
getting,
it.
I don't
That was
know.
the best scene
I
in the
mean,
movie. That scene was
it's a
fucking
good
amazing.
scene. It's a
Yeah.
good scene,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's just so. It wasn't for me. But like you said, production, all that other stuff, fantastic job.
That's why it feels
Looks
so.
great.
That
Sounded great.
I agree with you. I think I was less annoyed with it, or I wasn't bored by it because it seemed like he's trying to be Tarantino. Because Tarantino does this too, and is like Django Unchained. Like it's still a good movie. There's a lot of good parts, but there's a lot of scenes that are just like, well, he has power now, and he thinks all of his dialogue is great, so he's just going to play the entire scene.
I think. Well, I don't know. Like with Django, though.
yeah,
it's
rather
more-
than cut it out like
I don't
most
know.
people that aren't
Right.
him would have to
the
do.
only
yeah.
thing the thing I always remember about Django is just thinking the movie is just awesome for the first half, and I'm going to watch this again.
That
and
one
then
also
not
ends
wanting to
4
watch to see
times,
the
doesn't
film.
it?
Right.
It ends
and
twice
not wanting
at
to see
least.
the film. I think he doesn't. With Django, it always feels like he just doesn't know really where to go with the story or where to take his characters. Like he builds up this stuff and then he just doesn't know where to
I feel
take
that
them.
with this too. You don't
And
feel
that's
that with
the
I
this?
same
feel,
thing,
and
yeah.
you know what I wish too? I think it would have been much better to see this in the theater than
Oh my
it
God.
is at
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
amazing, and it's still pretty good if you have it on a big screen TV.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah,
first
but I don't know.
horror
It wasn't
movie
as
shot
good.
in IMAX on film.
See, that would have
really?
been good to see in theater. Then.
Yeah.
That would have been
Yeah.
great. I will say that sister and the brother, story was good. That was strong.
Yeah, also,
I liked that one.
again, they mentioned that the main character actor was just saying he thought that's one of the things that really attracted him to the script.
Oh yeah,
was that.
yeah. When they do that, like bop, 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 when they're all psyched up, I was like, yeah.
It's like there aren't many movies you can think of where you have a brother and sister just
No.
being together, just having a good relationship. And
Yeah,
just,
no, that was that. That
yeah.
part I
It was a
liked.
good- They had a
about
good
it.
chemistry too. Yeah,
They
It
did,
was
yeah.
good. And there's no love interest in this film. There's none of that. That's kind of nice too. There's not like
They kind of played
it's
it up
not
a little
there's
bit
no-
between her and the
Fries guy?
geek.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But they
Yeah.
didn't make much of that at all. It didn't seem like, but yeah. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the cinematographer guy either. He's probably my least favorite larger character in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like that another Tarantino wannabe scene was when he sang Flying Purple People Eater at the dinner table.
Yeah,
like the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, right.
Sound was really good. Sound was really good.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sound was really
Again,
good. Yeah.
sometimes.
Sometimes.
There were some
Not all the
scenes,
time.
They made the sound really good in scenes where it mattered. Like the horror scenes. All the horror scenes sound was really good. But then there were some scenes that like in the car, the ADR sounded like really off
so
and
bad.
up front a
Yeah,
lot. You're just like, oh, how do you go from that to this? Like how?
I know. They cheaped out on those parts because they needed the money for something else.
I guess.
Mean, these are pretty. It's a fairly low budget film, wasn't it? I mean,
68
it's
million.
kind of impressive. Yeah,
68 million? That's
it's
not
big.
that small. That's pretty big.
For I guess so.
I mean, they built
For a movie where they just talk?
Yeah,
Well,
they didn't have any stars.
They built the house.
They built the house
all
and they
the
built
sets.
the town, the little like carnival town. But that's it. I mean, they had a shit ton of crew, right? Like they had IMAX, they had IMAX cameras, they had had specialty infrared cameras. All of the nighttime field scenes where they're in the field shot in the daytime, and they shot with a combination like it was a ultra 3D camera where one of the lenses was an IMAX and the other lens was an infrared camera, and they composited those two film types together to make it look like a nighttime shot.
Whoa.
I can read a quote on exactly the technical parts of that. I won't be able to, shorten it down because I don't know what the fuck any of it means. But yeah, they did a lot of, like this guy is probably going to get nominated for best cinematography. His name is it Hoyte?
Yeah, what else has he done?
He did Ad Astra. He's done a lot of Christopher Nolan movies. I think he did Tenet and Interstellar.
It did look really good.
Yeah. Spell his name so I can't search it. Hoyte van Hoytema. I'm probably not saying that right.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Good try.
He did Dunkirk too.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was a bit of cinematography.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's kind of a legendary dude these days. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pro.
And it shows. I think the special effects were sometimes noticeable, but I thought even though they were noticeable, they were really good.
Sometimes they were all right. You know, I mean, like it was believable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They showed, there were some scenes that were just weird enough where I couldn't tell if what I was looking at was digital or some kind of miniature or something. Like the shot where they show the people flying up, like the huge crowd of people into the spaceship.
Yeah.
The people look a little digital, but then the spaceship looks like some weird set that they built with like
right, and they've got like the digital,
shit.
like a green screen at the end, almost, right?
Can't quite tell what it is, and that kind of makes it extra scary.
It actually works. Yeah, it's weird, but it works. It works to make it quite scary. Like that.
It like tricks your brain enough
pretty
to like where you don't
scene
notice.
In that, that's pretty frightening.
And so I'm talking a lot about the cinematography
too.
Yeah,
the screams. Yeah, that was.
But I watch a lot of horror movies, and they don't scare me. Right, like someone.
No, Denny laughs.
I laugh at them. Right, like they don't
Yeah.
scare me anymore. This movie scared me.
Yeah.
The one scene where they get sucked up into the UFO. And you see the inside with the people sliding up into the thing and the screaming.
I was more
that
creeped out
legit
than I was
scared me. Like that's like a nightmare image that'll be in my head the rest of my life.
Getting sucked up into an alien stomach.
It's like being digested alive inside of a creature. It's fucking terrifying.
The screams made it.
And
the
they
screams
did it in a
sold
way, and it's weird how they did it because you'd think if you're thinking about that, you'd think there'd be like lots of slime and goop or something, and they didn't do it that way at all.
It looked a little slimy, didn't it?
Looked slimy.
It didn't seem like there was. Slime
when
they
did that one right before the woman does that made the last scream, she's like covered in shit.
Oh, was she? I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that there was slime.
Yeah, it looked like
they were stuck in a
old
throat or
Nickelodeon
something, and they're being squeezed in, like squeezed down a throat.
Yeah.
Single file into a fucking who the hell knows what.
I was not watching directly. I was
you
cover your eyes?
Away.
Oh, come on, John. So it was scary. John was scared at least.
Oh, I know. I didn't say it wasn't. I said it was scary.
Okay.
I just thought they did it was scary. It just looked very different.
There were moments where I was looking like, oh shit, like about to, but not like, oh fuck, right? Like none of that. There'd be a little bit like, oh, it's go. I know this is coming. I know this is coming. I know this is coming. Right.
The scene where they had the three kids dressed up as aliens, and that was like a little scare scene. That scene got the most screams in the theaters by far.
I can imagine that because it was so like boom. Yeah.
And that's fun.
Right
that's like the fun
face.
type of horror right there. Because like half the people are wimps, and they're like, oh my God. And they're just
and
laughing
it's just
at
little
them.
kids. Like that's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with John. I think it does fall apart at the end. Like as soon as they bring, and not in a bad way either, because I like watching it, but like it is weird that we're trained so much to like movies to have this like structure, and movies that like this, it's like, well, they did the thing that we thought they were going to do at the beginning, but now we're going to up the stakes out of nowhere, introduce new characters when there's less than an hour left, and then like try to do something else. It seems almost like a sequel. And even though this movie is only just over 2 hours long, it feels like a 2.5 hour long movie. It feels long.
I agree.
And again, I like it a lot, but it does. I felt that in the theater, and I felt it this time too.
Kind of like, all right.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we got this new cinematographer guy, and he's gonna set up his camera, and they got to set
It's
up
like
all
an
these
encore.
things. Yeah,
Almost, you know, like, hey, the movie ended. No, it didn't.
And it takes like the second half of the movie to do that.
It takes a long time to get through that.
I wrote down, like, I think my favorite parts of the movie are all within the first hour of the movie, which is also probably one of the reasons it feels so long, is because, like, even though, you know,
the story already ended.
The story, I mean, like, the coolest parts.
Yeah, but once you understand that what it is,
right,
and that reveal is gone.
The way they go about and reveal
it's
it.
like,
they reveal it again.
Right.
It changes shape. And I kind of like that scene, too, where in the background you see it changing and you're not expecting it to change, and it's not showing it to you immediately. You're just like, what the fuck is going on back there?
Right.
And then it shows it to you, and you're like, what the fuck is this movie? What the hell is going on? I mean, I like that too. It's just like, this is just fucking weird now. I don't know who funded this movie and said, okay, let's do this. This is just goddamn weird. And I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, again, he's got a great track record. Peele does so far. Like, this movie also did well. Like, he's doing good.
Oh, he's great.
I don't know. And I want to go see whatever he does next. I want to go see it so far, because every time I've watched his stuff, it's been like, this is interesting, even if I'm not sure I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I really liked Get Out. I didn't see Us.
Oh, then you've only seen two of his movies,
Get Out
John.
was creepy.
Yeah. So now I've seen two, but I liked both.
I didn't like Us. Us was...
Oh, you didn't like
Us?
Us?
No, not really.
I think that's why I didn't go see it. I think you did not.
I told you,
recommend it.
sorry, John. Maybe you would like it. I don't
You
know.
told me off. I don't know.
I don't like slashers, and that was kind of just like a good-looking, slightly more interesting, typical slasher movie.
Okay.
Interesting.
I thought you liked slashers.
I don't like
Wait, so
slashers.
you like horror films, but you don't like slashers?
Yes.
So, like, no Halloween, no Friday the 13th, no.
Right. Correct.
Okay.
Because that's just murder, right? It's like, I like...
Yeah, right.
I don't like movies just about murdering people.
Sorry that I don't like murder.
Yeah, but like monster murders.
Monster,
okay.
sci-fi, horror.
Monster murder's fine. It doesn't exist.
You know, all that
You know?
shit.
Okay. Like demons.
Fantasy
whatever.
horror, I guess you might call
Fantasy.
it. I don't know.
Okay. I see. Yeah.
Or sci-fi horror. Fantasy or sci-fi. Not like, I'm a human and I'm going to stab you. What? That's
gotcha.
a slasher, I guess. It's like, I'm hiding in your house and there's a bunch of teenage girls and I'm going to kill them one by one.
None of those. You don't even like
That's
none
creepy.
of those. Okay.
Yeah. That's just me. Nothing wrong
Okay,
with
fair
it.
enough.
If you like those, John, go see us. You might like it.
I'm not sure if I'd be interested. I'm interested in seeing it now, just to see what his take on it is.
I just think you're going to look away the whole time.
Yeah, probably.
That's fine. I'll bring a good book. Or
I like
something.
that shot with there was a face in the
Kindle.
beginning.
You'll be there in the Kindle looking at the
right.
fucking thing, and then the screen will be all
Yeah.
bright. Like, I
Oh
just
my
can't
God.
do this.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
just gonna
right.
surf a little.
I'm just going to start to read.
What Naomi does when she's scared is she goes to Wikipedia and looks at the ending, so the suspense goes away.
So she knows.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
she
fair.
just like, if she feels like somebody might die, she checks to see
That's
if they
kind
die.
of smart.
Yeah,
I like that.
because she doesn't like
It's
the
like,
feeling
now
of
I
suspense.
know.
It's like, oh, he's not going to
pretty good.
die.
That's
I'm good.
That's smart.
All right,
That's
then
really
we
smart.
move on. Yeah, we're all right.
Yeah. Plus, also the scene in the first half. So we got the people getting sucked up into the spaceship, and then the scene where the spaceship is above the house and then starts dumping blood onto the house. It's
Yeah,
fucking
that was impressive.
awesome. Really awesome.
That was a really good.
And they're
scene.
all just like sitting there, like, nah,
Yeah.
we're good. Yeah, I'm
But
not
the
going
sound,
outside.
the sound of the rain
Yeah.
and like the way the water looked, you could tell there was really water outside the house, and there was. Like, they did all that shit practically. It just looked amazing. Just every shot of it, from inside the house, from inside
Like,
the truck,
all the stuff
from the
falling
truck
down.
looking at the house with like the barely visible red stream in the center coming
How much
down.
water did they waste?
A lot of water. They had a shit ton of like fire.
I
It
can't
looked like
even imagine.
yeah, sprinklers everywhere. But that was awesome
Yeah,
too.
that was another really memorable scene. Yeah, that was.
No, it
really
was.
cool.
I'll give him that one. That was, pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
There's something about water and rain in movies too that just makes it all look better.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
makes
know
it look
what is.
expensive.
Well,
It
this
looks
idea,
nice.
It
just
does.
this
It does.
idea, it seems so. I mean, this seems really original. This idea, it's just. I'm sure. I know it's been sort of done, like the idea of alien or whatever.
I mean, it's Jaws plus Close
that's a
Encounters of the Third
creature.
Kind, right? That's all it is.
Right.
The spaceship is
Kinda,
Jaws,
but-
and it's an alien movie.
right. But again, just the simple idea of what can you do with but then the alien can't digest some of these things, so it's just going to barf it back up, and what are the consequences of that? and just going with that is pretty cool. The way that like is a recurring thing throughout the film.
It's totally
So,
Jaws. Because like at the end, it eats something it shouldn't have and it blows up just like Jaws.
That's true. Yeah, it's just like Jaws with the balloon. Although that was just like, I don't know why that balloon blows up. That wasn't like compressed air. It was a little, I don't know why that balloon blows up the way it does.
Because he squeezed it so hard. Because he was squeezing it in his belly.
It's just a helium balloon. It just goes pee.
I don't think that was helium. That was one of those massive ones that needs the motor to keep it going. It's just air.
Oh, really? Well, it's just air then. That's not going to blow you up.
If you take one of those things, seal it, and then press down on it hard enough from all angles, it'll explode. For sure.
It'll just puncture, but it won't blow up. Like it won't
if you take giant hands and go like that to it, it'll pop.
It'll pop, but that doesn't mean it doesn't explode like a bomb. It doesn't like blow you up.
But it might shoot the air in one direction.
Oh, there's a lot of hot air, all right.
Mouth probably, or make you fart or something if you're the monster. You just have one heck of a sky fart. But, I don't know if it would blow you up. Anyway,
I think it would. Moving on.
Yeah. Right, Jaws is compressed
This is now
tank.
a progressive commercial becoming your parents.
That's right.
No, but it was taking the balloon and compressing it down. So it was compressed after he was in his stomach.
So it was compressed.
Oh my God, it's still going. It's like the movie. It's like the movie.
I tried to let it go, but he brought it back up.
I figured it out. Come on, I wanted to share.
No. You still got you like pressing it down like through your throat. That means the air can shoot right back out of your mouth or go into your stomach. It's not going to be a bomb all of a sudden.
Yeah. All of a sudden, well, yeah, it is true.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How dare you question the logic of this movie, John?
I do.
Boy.
Anyone got anything else for the plot or the story or whatever?
Not really. I think just you guys already hit on the brother-sister relationships are really good. I really like that. I think that's like the highlight of the film as far as the way the character interactions. I really like the main character. I thought he was just like really understated. And did a really good job of it. He was very likable, even though he wasn't like trying to be the center of the tension or anything like that.
He was like Mad Max Fury Road, kind of.
Yeah, but he was, he didn't seem like he was vacant or anything. He's just very quiet in his role, and I really liked it. And it was a good contrast with his sister, who was
yeah, I guess they must have directed him to be very slow because he was very like thoughtful and slow with all his movements.
Yeah.
And she was very twitchy and crazy. And it was a nice contrast.
Yeah. So I really liked that. The horse kicking scene was good. I liked when the horse kicked the.
That must have been a dangerous stunt. Yeah, it looked real.
Yeah, it looked real. It was terrifying the way it went off. I thought just like, wow, I don't know. They did that really well. I like the monkey fist bump.
It might not be real.
I liked.
I mean, just
the monkey fist bump.
No. I thought that was that.
Yeah,
whole
monkey
sequence,
fist bump was a little creepy.
It was good though too. The
way
way they show it come into the kid, the fear in the kid's face, and then the monkey getting shot right after the fist bump.
Right after it was that was a shocking
feature.
Scene.
They show like Peele directing that whole sequence. And it's really cool.
Oh, really?
Because
that guy's a good actor.
Out. Yeah,
the guy who plays the monkey,
little boy. Oh, the monkey. Yeah, so it's an actor. They CG'd over an actor, right?
Yeah.
Right. So they CG'd over his movements.
His name is Terry Notary.
Yeah, but he was really good too. But that whole sequence was really good, and even though I again don't know how it relates to everything else, but whatever. But that sequence was impressive. So that's what I can sort of like in a way. You can take away these sort of like bits of the film. Yeah, because
that guy, the whole thing is like animals, right? I guess you're supposed to think about something about animals and like also Hollywood and spectacle and exploiting people, right?
Yeah, or people's fascination with things like that too.
But the only real connection between those characters is that their ranches are next to each other and they meet each other. Like he sells horses. I got a lot of questions logically. I don't know if it's worth getting into. If this guy has a theme park where they watch horses get eaten by aliens, don't you think that would be like world known? Like, wouldn't people know about that?
People would, yeah, you'd think so.
Because was this literally the first time they had a show? I don't think so, right? Because they had all this other stuff built out, and it's not the first time he sold a horse to this guy. So just because people's cameras don't work when it happens doesn't mean that everybody wouldn't leave every time and be like, yo, seriously, go to this fucking place. There's UFOs.
You're going to watch a UFO eat a horse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I don't. I know. It's just. I think if you try to put,
it's all
things
just to
together,
have the
it's
people
like,
sucked up into the UFO, like TC said.
Right,
it's all just to get to that one part.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it would have been tighter, and it would have made more sense if they had just made that a much shorter scene with no background characters, right? If they had made it like 2 minutes long to set up that shot, as opposed to like half of the movie setting up that character in that shot.
Right. That's fair.
But again, didn't hate the monkey stuff at the beginning. Yeah. So it's kind of like, well, it's not necessary, but wasn't boring or bad.
Right.
No, it wasn't boring. Except for the parts that were very boring. But,
what parts were boring? Just like them standing around in the field talking, kind of?
Yeah, there was a few. Yeah, there was some scenes between the two of them that were useless. There was some scenes with the guy, and he was talking about all that shit at the beginning with this Catan thing, which was funny but irrelevant.
Yeah.
And then there was, some of the scenes that they were setting up cameras, nothing really pushed forward with anything they were doing. And I don't know, there was just
they wanted to show you it was about the filming industry. That's what they were going for.
Right. And the problem is I'm already jaded enough with that shit. So that also might be part of it, right? It's like it's very meta. It's very about the industry.
It seems to be, there seems to be those sorts of hints there again, but it's not.
They're there and
it's there, but
understood.
It's not like a tight narrative or anything like that. It's just more like, hey, this is kind of like this, and this other thing's kind of like this, and
dude, we're gonna put a key in a horse, and it's gonna look fucking scary.
And it does fucking look scary.
And it does look scary.
It's a nickel in your skull. That's pretty good X-ray right there.
Well, what happened after that? Oh, nothing. You don't have to remember that now. We're on to the next thing. Yeah, right.
He's not wrong.
No.
The shoe thing. Did you guys get anything from the shoe? They showed like 3 times in the movie.
Don't quite get the shoe.
No, there's the one floating shoe, which the shoe I really noticed was
the upright
when
shoe.
The chimp goes crazy, and there's this upright shoe.
Yeah.
And I have no idea.
Well, that's
what
in
to
the
make
glass
of that.
box too.
Right.
Yeah,
also
he
upright.
preserves it.
Also upright.
Yeah.
So what is
Some
that
sort of
connection there?
I think it's just a red herring. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, I tried. I thought about it a little while. I'm like,
yeah, it is. Means nothing, but hey.
Yeah, hey, the shoe's up. Yeah. What does that mean?
And we're going to show it a few times like that to make you think like it's going to have meaning, but
it's going to maybe do something?
Nope.
It might have. You know what? I figured it might have had a bigger plot point at some point that was then removed. And then they're like, it still looks cool. Fuck it.
Maybe.
And we can't get it out of those other scenes.
We can't get it out of the shot. So, it's in the center of this monkey shot.
We just have to do it now and figure it out, and then hopefully no one will know.
And it might actually add to it because then people will talk about it more. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That shot of the girl from the TV show as an adult with her face, that was fucked up too. Remember that? When she also got sucked up by the UFO in that scene when he was introducing her. She's like, my crush when I was a little kid. And points to that she has like a veil over her face.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck was that? Who was that?
That was the person that was his co-star as a kid on the TV show.
Because she
and
got
the monkey ripped her face off.
Oh, I see.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That
was not very clear.
Yeah, it wasn't. They had a picture of her as a kid on her shirt, but you couldn't the shot wasn't very clear. Her shirt was kind of bent over the picture.
Yeah, so just another one of those shock things that were there to be there.
That looked pretty good.
Show some fucked up.
It was
face.
scary, but I didn't know. I didn't put it together. I thought, man, she looks weird. I wonder why she looks weird. But wait, now they're getting sucked up by an alien, and I forgot all about it. So
yeah, exactly. See, on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
But you could read into that, John. Even though she got her face ripped off by the industry, she's still holding on.
That's everybody in LA.
They all want a piece of it. Even like that's like the child actor. He's still
still holding on
still
to something that's never coming.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
That's the message. Spectacle and sacrifice.
Yeah, spectacle, animals
being exploited.
Leaving out all the money they're making though.
Yeah.
It's funny. So at the very end of his at the end of that featurette that John watched that comes on the Blu-ray, the Shadows thing, Jordan Peele, the last thing he says in the last day of shoot was like, he basically says, this movie is about all the worst parts of the industry, but we're a part of it, and there's a lot of good parts of the industry too. So it was just kind of weird to hear him like openly talk badly about the industry. Like,
oh, I mean, dude, everybody does. It's part of, I think it's part of it, is just being like, shitty. Honestly, I think because it's like there's so much competition, there's so many people out there. Some people will stab you in the back and they don't give a fuck about you. Other people will help you through all the way, right? And so there are like these discrepancies between people.
But he's like a golden boy right now. I mean, he is.
Oh, they-
And he'll
their
continue to
show-
be as long as he continues
Key
to
and
make
Peele
money.
is one of the most
Right.
successful shows I can remember, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I love Killing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then also now he's got like 3 successful movies.
he's
back to
moved
back.
on, and he's got he's
mean,
cruising altitude.
Like
at this
each,
point.
each of his films is made.
He's gonna get a bigger budget
Oh,
next
and
time. It's gonna be
he's
great.
really talented. I mean, there's
Yeah.
he deserves to get these movies
Yeah.
coming in. You know, he does.
But it's still like if you're going to sit there and sort of criticize, it's biting the hand that feeds you, maybe. But he's got his own production.
Nah, because the
company.
worst
He's
part about
got-
Hollywood is these people are private money, some of them too. So like,
Yeah.
there's just money, right? Like people have money and they're willing to put in on films, even if they're not a part of the big studio world.
And
right?
we've
So,
learned
like,
this. Like,
yeah.
if you make money for the studio, you can talk shit on them. They don't care.
Oh yeah,
as long
they
as
Oh,
you
yeah,
make
they don't
money.
give a fuck,
It's all
right.
business. They're good with that.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
okay. Yeah, it's fair.
right.
There was
So
a movie we
it
watched
is
where
a
they let somebody
cheeky business.
make fun of them if their previous movie made over a certain amount of money, and it did. So they're like, it was Paramount. What movie
I
was that?
bet.
It was like based on how Paramount sucks,
Oh, was
really?
it the oh.
and it
I
was
mean,
because
that's fun.
it was Billy Wilder,
I'm ready
right?
for my close up. I'm ready for my close up film. What was that? No,
yes.
What was that?
Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, they were allowed because Billy Wilder made so much money for the studio to make fun of the studio.
They're like-
they
they're
let
like,
him make
look,
the money
yeah,
because he
you
made
guys-
the money.
You guys can criticize Hollywood
Right.
all you want because you're making us money.
Yeah, right.
Because that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we'll do bad things to make money. We'll do
And
good
yep.
things to make money. As long
Yep.
as we make the money, it's
Well,
okay.
that's it's who you choose to be.
Yeah.
And, right. You know, I mean, that's why they made that joke about the CW.
Yeah.
Right. Like that joke was such a fucking inside, like, stupid Hollywood joke. Right. Because nobody thinks the CW is worth any fucking salt. Right. So if you're working CW, that's a joke. And it's a joke in the movie. And like, it's think CW gives a fuck. Who was the last time anyone brought up CW?
I didn't even know it existed anymore.
I don't even know if it does. It
No,
might not.
They don't have they got to have their streaming service.
I think they might have it still,
Do
but
they have
either
a
way, like
streaming
it's
service?
just such
No
a
way.
cheeky business.
Do we think that the praying mantis in the camera is a part of the alien spaceship, or is it just a huge coincidence?
It's just
It's just a huge coincidence.
So like one of the cameras shut off, the other one didn't. That doesn't make sense. His gasoline truck shut down with a power surge. That wouldn't happen, right? If your car is on, you don't need power.
Battery doesn't let it start.
But if it's already running,
If it's already running.
Oh yeah, there you go. Smart. Didn't pick that up.
yeah, because he was driving his
Um,
gasoline truck and it shuts down.
I mean, I don't know, man. Why are you
I don't
trying
know-
to figure
I
this
don't know
out?
either.
Yeah,
This is
There's
what
no
I do,
reason to figure
TC.
this
This
out.
is what I do,
There's
TC.
no reason to figure this out. They do not want you to
You're
figure
not
this
wrong,
out. They
but
just
this
want
is
you to
what I
watch it. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know, Denny.
I don't know
Good
either.
question.
So my little pen here. You guys know there's such thing as quadruple A batteries?
No,
I've had this tablet for like
Double
5
A,
years
triple
now.
A.
There's this.
Didn't
I've had this
know.
pen for like 5 years at this point. Never replaced the battery. Finally died during this movie. Quadruple A battery.
Wow, I didn't know that
Really?
existed.
Neither did I.
Interesting.
No idea.
Did you know that Jordan Peele almost, or at least he was in talks to direct the live action Akira remake?
Oh wow.
No.
Yeah, that was going on for almost a year. And
Is somebody doing that still?
he dropped out. The project wasn't totally shuttered. I haven't looked into it in a while, but I know it wasn't like canceled, but I don't know who was going to replace him or where it's at. But
Wow.
with that being said, he did this after all those talks were being done. Did you notice the blatant ripoff of one of the shots of Akira in this movie?
No.
Is it the getting squeezed inside the monster? is
No,
one of the-
actually, that's-
because that actually is another Akira
That's
thing.
a
that
good.
happens.
That's a good point, but no, I
What?
guess that's the second one. The one
Yeah.
is totally completely ripped off. It's when in the beginning bike chase scene in
Mike-
Akira.
oh, the bike. Yeah, when she's
and
doing
it
the.
slides like away from
She
the camera,
slides.
totally
Yeah, yeah,
sideways.
yeah.
And
I'm literally
stops.
on the image right now.
Yeah.
When you just type in
It is
Akira, it comes
a
right up.
dead ripoff from Akira.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's in the fucking trailer, that shot. In Akira.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, in the Akira trailer.
In the Akira
Oh,
trailer.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That as soon as the bike goes, it slides. Yeah. Fucking A. I did not recognize that.
So I wonder if like I mean, you can always rip shots off, I guess, but it's like, well, I couldn't do Akira, but I want to put this, I'm
I'm going to make a joke about it.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we're making fun of Hollywood, and some asshole in Hollywood won't let me direct that fucking movie, right? Like, I'm sure that's all. That's how it all goes.
To doing that
right.
shot.
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, fuck you, passive aggressively. I'm going to put this shit in this movie because this movie makes no sense and it doesn't matter.
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. Because I'm fucking, exactly. This is how it goes.
And then you're going to remake it in 2 years, and my Akira shot's going to be better than yours, assholes.
Exactly. See? I'm going to beat you to it.
Yeah. All right. So, John, did you have anything else from the Shadows, the making of Nope, that you wanted to?
I was like watching it like right before the podcast. I got like 20 minutes into it. One thing I noticed though too is that this was going on peak COVID times. Everybody was wearing masks. Peele had like a mask that sometimes had like a clear front to it so people could see his expressions as he was talking.
You read his mouth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A lot of people had the big like plastic shields coming up from their chests.
Plastic shields. Everybody was so like, it's also just another thing to remember. This one was done peak COVID.
For all like the large group takes, he's like, all right, when we yell rolling, everyone take your mask off, put it in your pocket.
I mean, again, the other thing I was just impressed by, and I'm sure, the short was, I'm happy to, make this look the way it did, but just the meticulousness of his directing and how friendly he was at the same time was impressive. Again, just watching how he was orchestrating the shots, telling people what to do. He really had
he seemed calm, really calm.
Yeah, calm, not angry, but really knew what he wanted. Like really knew what he seemed to know what he wanted to get out of the shot and what he wanted his actors to do.
I mean, he has got to be. He's been on, the set daily for God knows how long, right? Like he probably feels the most comfortable.
Yeah, he doesn't
when he's there.
And
he does in other
don't know the guy at
situations.
all, but yeah, he doesn't seem stressed out at all either.
No,
he seems pretty.
It's
calm.
his job. It's been his job for a while, and I mean he can produce too. Like he just delivers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's something else.
They had a huge crew on this movie too, and the Hoyt van Hoytema. I can't say his name. Apologies.
Oh boy,
he
you're gonna have to ADR that one in.
Hoyt van Hoytema, cinematographer, basically took not half the slack, but he took a large chunk of the slack. I think more than most cinematographers do on this movie, and it seemed like Jordan Peele thanked him a lot. The sets were built by a very famous production designer, but the sets were built separately with his ideas in there. It didn't seem like he had any ideas on how to shoot the shots. And they would kind of, like they had a bunch of IMAX cameras on cranes and things so they could move them wherever they wanted to. And the cinematographer would suggest, like they would block the actors in response to the cinematographer's choices. So like they would think, how could we make this set look the best it could and the most suspenseful? Where could we put the camera? How could we move it? And then they would like do the acting stuff, like where characters would go on top, like afterwards, So it started with like the cinematographer.
So it's not like there were storyboards here at all.
No,
it sounds like nothing like that.
If there were at any point, they were completely thrown away because it was like every single shot. It would be Jordan Peele and the cinematographer talking, being like, "All right, here's what we want to get accomplished in the scene." He would be asking the cinematographer, "How do we accomplish that if this is the tone we're going for?" And then he would come back with all these ideas, and then Jordan Peele would be like, "All right, if that's how the camera's going to move, we need the actors to be here, and like all that type of stuff." So
it sounds like it's very collaborative. I mean,
it was specifically between those two. I think. I mean, he gave everyone a lot of credit, but it seemed like those two really were working very closely.
I feel like that's a pretty normal situation now in Hollywood, where the director and the cinematographer are pretty much hand in hand, right?
For really good movies. For really good movies.
For really good movies. In general, I think too. I think it's I remember witnessing it with other amateur, DPs and directors, right? These people kind of they get a rapport with each other, and then they work their way up, and then they know each other, and then before you know it, they're making great film, right?
Yeah,
so I think it's a common thing now. Not used to be though. 20 years ago, that wouldn't be the case, right? The director would be saying, "You're doing this, let's do that."
They would be calling the shots. I mean,
but that's sort of shifted now. It's more of a team effort these days, and
it seems that way. Like we start to get to know these cinematographers, or then they pair up all the like Denis Villeneuve. I mean, we love his films, and he always has amazing cinematography. He's always very often working with the same people there too. So yeah,
I mean, this guy's done
these spectacle
3 movies with Christopher Nolan, the guy who did this movie.
Yeah. Wow.
And 4, he's going to do Oppenheimer too, Nolan's next movie. That when they shot the monkey, they really used a paintball. Like they just had a guy with a paintball. Did you see that shot, John?
Mhm.
It was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
Like
really?
a lot of that was practical. It's kind of confusing because you're looking at the monkey's head and you're like, all right, this is CG. But everything except for the monkey's face and his arms were real because it was like the guy wearing the clothes and he was hopping around doing all the acting. And they don't even need green screens anymore, which is awesome.
I know.
They
It's
just
crazy.
like replace
Yeah.
like the background looks like it does. And they just digitally replace this dude's face with a monkey's face.
Paint
and he
right
has
over
these
it.
arm extensions to make his like arms the length of a
Arm,
chimp's. And
yeah.
they just replace that with monkey arms.
Isn't
That's
that
cool.
fucking
He's
crazy?
not wearing like a suit. He doesn't have the
That's
dots.
awesome.
He doesn't
on
have the
himself or
dots.
anything,
Yeah.
right? It just It's kind of
It's
amazing
just something
what they do,
else,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. It's funny, yeah, because they don't need the dots, but then when they're showing the horse and it has like the red X's on it. Like you don't need the red X's anymore.
It's part
I
of the
guess.
gig. Yeah,
It's
right.
part of what you're used to.
Yeah, and I feel kind of bad for that guy who plays the monkey because he does like the behind the scenes thing. You're like, this guy is acting the shit out of this. Like he is doing a great monkey.
I had no idea.
I didn't know it was like
I
a real
didn't even know the
person.
monkey was CG. I didn't know
really?
that was a CG. I didn't think that. I just thought they might have an actual monkey on set. When you see it from further away, couldn't tell.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so
Oh, didn't you hear the thing? They can't bring them on set. They kill. Right? Come on.
they're
the fuck?
vicious animals.
Well, it's been like that for years.
That's right.
That'd be a bad omen to like make a movie about a monkey murdering people on set and then covering
And then
a real
murder
monkey
people?
in blood and being surprised if it hurts somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody
The
would feel
monkey
bad.
was learned to kill. Oh, well, no, that's what you do. You make a movie about it. That's so meta.
Yeah. Oh, it
Monkey's
doesn't matter.
on, and then he becomes a real killer, and then you have the monkey slasher horror film. It'd be great.
Right.
Did you know that Fry's Electronics is closed forever?
Yep.
Closed.
All of them?
All of them closed at February 24th, 2021.
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2021.
Oh, I
And-
love fries.
And this one
yeah,
was a
that
real
closed.
Fry's. It was closed and gutted. They had to redress it to look like it was open.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was in Burbank, this one,
Yep.
this location. And the founders or whatever, people who started Fry's were there for the shoot because, they didn't want to close it. It was the freaking
I
pandemic.
mean, do you know how many people bought stuff from Fry's as they're doing all their.
I've never been to a
Yeah.
Fry's, but I've heard of it because it's so
Oh, it's
popular of a
huge.
chain.
They were huge. They were huge. Yeah, it was like a Best Buy, but better.
Yeah, but all kinds of
crack.
stuff. They had so much stuff.
They had
Plus,
so
also
much
West
stuff. It was
Coast
great.
only, right?
I don't think I ever heard of it until I was out here. So yeah.
Well, I think I had heard of it on the East Coast, but never existed. Like a Sonic. You hear about Sonic all the time, and you're like,
yeah.
where the fuck is
You got to
Sonic?
go to like Georgia to see one, right? Yeah, which is not a
why are they
thing.
spending all these commercials
Although
for?
Atlanta's the new Hollywood, so you never know.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Tax breaks and whatnot?
Oh yeah, there's studios are out there in droves.
This
now.
movie got a $9 million tax cut from California for filming there.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So California
That's
is
a lot.
trying to compete, I guess, still, if other states are doing it now
Yeah.
too. Yeah, they shot a lot of it in 65 millimeter IMAX. They actually shot a lot. Did you get to the helicopter stuff, John?
Well, I saw the helicopter where he's directing the crowd. They were using the helicopter as a stand-in for where the alien was.
Yeah.
So that the crowd would know
They
where
did that
to
a
look.
lot. So a lot of the dust swirling in the fields and stuff was helicopters getting really close to the ground, and they would replace the
Ah.
helicopter with a spaceship. And
Smart.
they also attach cameras to the helicopter so you can get those like alien POV shots,
Uh-huh.
from up
Uh-huh.
there. And they actually went so far because they knew they were filming this documentary or this like making of thing. They put a camera on the helicopter pointing at the IMAX camera, also on the helicopter, so you could see that
Yeah,
there was
that's
an
the
IMAX
BTS
camera.
crew
Yeah.
doing their thing.
But
Yeah.
it was like this camera is only to shoot the IMAX camera for proof that they strapped an IMAX camera to this helicopter.
Well, you know what is funny too is a lot of times like BTS isn't even related to the production. It's like
This
some
one
marketing team.
had to have been because the way it looked was like it looked almost movie quality. The footage.
Oh,
they
I'm
had.
sure. I mean, no, these are full production companies that join in as BTS. It's impressive, really. There's so much like the BTS people actually end up shooting more footage than the people shooting the film.
That makes sense because they're using cheaper film, right?
So it's terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of shit from them, and then like
that's like they don't have to
it's
set up
crazy.
anything. They just show up.
They
and
just
turn their cameras
constantly
on.
go.
And then it wraps.
Oh,
and you're
no,
like,
there's
oh
more than
fuck,
that.
how am
You'd
I
be
going to watch
surprised.
all this?
Yeah.
Oh, they do, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much work those people are doing. They've got their own story to make.
No, for this, yeah, they shot behind the scenes
Yeah.
the entire shoot. It was obvious. Like
Oh yeah,
staying
That's
out
how
of the
they
way
all are
must
now.
be a job in itself, right? With everything else
it's
going on.
insane. Right. That's what I'm saying. They usually a lot of times they'll have a separate prodco that's doing a whole different, that's their job is BTS. It's insane.
They did handheld IMAX, which is rare. The thing is 60 pounds.
I was going to say a handheld. It's maybe a bit of a misnomer. It's
That
like
is-
handheld.
Well, it is technically handheld. It's
with a
not
strap.
mounted to anything but a human.
Right.
And there's
I see.
no-
like what, a
So that's
Steadicam
like
or
a
Not a
something?
Steadicam, no. So Steadicam would,
What
I
is
guess,
it?
is considered. It's like a rig, like a solid rig attached to your
geez.
shoulder. So it's like it looks like a Steadicam, but there's no like movable parts to it. You know.
Wow.
So
It's
60 pounds.
shoulder held.
Shoulder held. Yeah.
Not my cup of tea.
Nope. That Jupiter's Claim, they actually built it. Obviously, it was a 3/4 scale. They had a working petting zoo in there, a working steam
Wow.
train.
Jesus.
They had this whole idea of like theme of the park was built into it, where you'd go in the beginning and you'd sift for gold for a certain period of time. And, you know, depending on the day, you get more or less gold. And then you go to like the place where you exchange the gold for money. Then you get to go around the theme park and spend your money at like the candy
And those
stores
big
and the
old
rides.
coins.
So depending on like
That's a
how
good
much,
idea. I
Yeah.
like that idea. That's good.
but like you don't get any of that watching this movie, right?
No.
No.
You see those coins? and I don't know where the hell they came
Didn't
from.
know where they
Right.
came from.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they just came from the
The very
sky.
odd
Had no
sky
clue.
picture maker machine.
Yeah,
It was
right.
also strange.
It looks perfectly where it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They actually have that set in the Universal Studios backlot right now, and
Huh.
they just redressed it this year for Halloween. So they like redid all of the buildings for like Halloween sets and stuff, and you can go there and I don't know,
Oh, that'd
freak
be
yourself
oh,
out.
fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Go to
Yeah.
the Jupiter Nope place.
The shot where the guy with the shiny helmet from TMZ comes and crashes,
Yeah.
and the main character.
I like that sequence, although again, totally unnecessary, but whatever.
It was somewhat creepy in the beginning, and then it became a
but-
joke.
Yeah, it was. And then it was like, you're from TMZ. I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
come on, guys.
I was
I
like, wait a
like-
minute,
I
is this
like
a secret
this
government
doing.
agency? What is this?
What are you doing?
But that shot where he's laying on the ground and then OJ has to leave because he sees in the reflection the UFO's right above him. And then he runs away and you see the UFO suck him up. He actually gets lifted up. The guy in the shot is harnessed to the helicopter and the helicopter is kicking up dust and he gets pulled
Oh
up
my God,
with
he's
the
holy
pulled
helicopter.
away
shit.
by a helicopter.
That's
Yikes.
fucking crazy.
And I'm not even sure that
Oh,
it shows up
man.
in the footage because you see the body go up, but it looks CG like a lot of the other bodies going up.
yeah.
And the,
It didn't look
yeah.
real.
But he did the stunt, so there's that.
Damn.
That's cool, though. It's a little bit less editing, right?
Yeah,
Just paint out the.
I mean, I enjoyed the sequence
harness.
where the bike hits the wall, the sort of the imaginary wall. That looked pretty cool.
That was
too.
pretty funny too. There's no way he's alive, and then he just starts like moaning in pain.
Screaming.
I laughed at that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
Another stunt that was real was when the Fry's assistant guy, he was tangled on the barbed wire, and it tried to suck him up after he wrapped himself up in it, and you see him like grabbing the ground and going up into the air, and then rolling in the dirt. That was all real too.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't barbed wire, but they had him attached to a wire, and they first dragged him like horizontally across the ground, and then lifted him up in the air. And
Oh wow.
the stunt team messed around for a while with this crane to figure out like how they were going to do it. And this guy, the actor, really wanted to do it. So like they tested how they would do it and how they would shoot it. And then they brought him there and they showed him how the stunt guys did it. And he watched them and then he did it. And they let him do one take. And that was it. And like that's the one that's in the movie. He
Oh,
came
wow.
down off the thing being like, let me do
Wow.
it again. Let me do it again. They're like, no,
They're like,
no,
nope.
you can't do that again.
Nope. Not happening, bud.
But he was pumped afterwards.
I bet.
They shot this film sequentially, and the last shot of the movie was the last thing they filmed when she was kind of smiling at the
Possibly
horse.
seeing her brother, who
Yeah.
may or may not be dead.
Oh, he was definitely there.
Mhm.
Come on.
So
do you think?
Or was he?
Or was he?
We're not
Or
watching
was
Shawshank
he?
Redemption here, John. He was alive. That Terry Notary guy also played a monkey in Kong Skull Island. So that's how he got this role.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So his
okay.
guy, he's the monkey
He's the monkey
guy.
guy. Yeah.
Well,
All right.
he didn't
Hey,
go
someone call the
after,
monkey guy.
What's his name?
Andy
Gollum?
Serkis. He's too
Yeah.
big now. He's actually like doesn't
He's
need
too
to have
big.
a CG face anymore. They're putting his face in movies now.
That's true, right? He's so good. That
He's so
they
good.
just Put him down.
So the original film of we call it like the horse running footage is actually called Sally Gardner at a Gallop. That's the name of the
Mhm.
first film ever made. And most of that stuff they said was true, except for there were people with names that were credited for. There were apparently 2 people riding horses that were credited in that film, but nobody knows who those people are. Abbreviated first name and then a last name. So they could be, and they don't know whether they're white or black, but they kind of look black from the footage, but it's super old footage. So you can't really tell.
You can't tell.
But
A little creative license there.
yeah, the guy who shot it, they knew his name was Edward Muybridge. I think is how you say it. They mentioned his name in this movie. And in reality, he ended up going to trial for murdering his wife. And he admitted to doing it. But he used his crazy cinematographer motivations as his insanity plea. Like, he did a lot of nature stuff, just like the cinematographer in this movie, where he'd get really close to dangerous animals and get rare shots of those animals doing things that nobody else had seen before. And his insanity plea for murdering his wife was like, why would a sane person go these close to these animals eating other animals?
Okay, and then and
then he went to prison.
It didn't work. Yeah, right. Everyone was like, "That doesn't make any sense." No. You know that, right? Yeah.
Well,
we can't lock you up fast
we
enough.
can tell that you can tell you're a cinematographer and not a writer.
Yeah. Geez, man. Next time, just keep your mouth shut. Yeah.
Do you know where Agua Dulce is, TC?
Where?
I don't know.
No.
That was a question for you. It's in California somewhere. Vasquez Rocks.
No.
Apparently, that's where they shot all the field stuff. So if you know where that is, that's where that was.
Just far out in the middle of nowhere is essentially what you're getting at. Yeah.
We've talked about this movie a few times. The creature at the end was influenced by Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yep.
So
that movie's like still probably at the bottom of the top 250 officially. It's just a very, very beloved anime series and there's movies around it too.
All right, I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible, and it might get edited out. Ready? This is the last piece of trivia.
All right, here we go.
All right, so this has to do with things I don't understand. So I'm just going to say, I usually don't like doing this. So again, I might edit it out, but here we go. Most of the night sequences, specifically those shot in Haywood's Field, were actually shot in the day with a complex rig built by cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema. I got it that time. Look at me, guys. These scenes,
this is staying in now, boys.
These scenes were shot with a normal 5-perf 70mm Panavision film camera and a digital ARRI Alexa 65 camera, modified with an IR filter removed from the sensor to make it sensitive to infrared light, rigged up to a 3D camera rig so they were set to take the same image at once, similar to how Van Hoytema shot the lunar chase sequence in Ad Astra. These two images were then composed together to give the night scenes their unique look. In fact, most of these sequences are opened up for IMAX, but were actually shot in normal 5-perf 70mm film in a 2.2 to 1 aspect ratio and were digitally expanded upon in the post. This was done for two reasons. One, there is no digital camera as of yet whose sensor is as big as the IMAX film, so the two cameras wouldn't match up perfectly. And two, the skies were already going to be completely digitally remastered for the effect sequences, so that information would have been useless to the filmmakers anyway. So.
Wow. Talk about nerds. That's awesome.
Fine. I mean, that's kind of interesting, right? Like, a lot of that stuff is...
Very interesting. It's like science at its best.
Right.
Like, it's like we know everything about, cameras and how it all works, and we're going to use that to our advantage to
create a new way of
I think that's
filming
cool.
at night. And it looks fucking great. The nighttime shots look really good.
But it's not a way that most people will be able to afford.
Yeah,
so
probably. Well, unless
it's that cool.
Maybe in the future.
I mean, sorry, let me rephrase. It is that cool, but it's just not something that's mostly attainable.
Right. But at least now they won't have to spend the money on the research. They can just be like, let's just do it.
They know it. That is documented. That is down, and it is a usable way. Yeah, it's awesome.
Because it's such a pain in the ass to do lighting and everything at night, right? It's like,
and the thing is, too, I read that when it says, quote, specifically those shots out in the Haywood's Field, that makes sense because a lot of the behind the scenes footage they show in that making of are at the house, and they have these huge panel lights up on cranes. So they're actually filming that shit at night around the house with lights. But then when they're in the field, I guess you can't light all that. I mean, I know you can't light all that at nighttime. But
there's no way. It's like fucking...
But you can't use moonlight or something? I guess not.
Well, you get those big crane
that's
lights.
Never enough.
But then it's not uniform across like the mountains in the background and stuff.
That too.
So, I mean, it looks really good. Like looks
great.
It reminded me of like the nighttime shots in Lawrence of Arabia. Just like, how did they film this?
Yeah,
these are the best nighttime shots I've ever
that
seen.
They would have been, that much of an effect. It just kind of like worked, and I didn't notice. So that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
All right. Happy Halloween, guys. We did it. That's another
Halloween.
Good sequence.
Yeah,
good
it was. And next week we're getting back to it. Wait, did you put in the top 250?
No.
Is that nope?
Nope.
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 I'm
going to go nope too.
I'm okay. I'll probably go Nope too. Although it's unusual. I'll be Nope, but
You'll be
I
Nope.
really enjoyed it. So
Yeah,
thanks.
same. All right, so next week we're getting back to the list. We're watching the 2014 movie Whiplash.
Woo-hoo.
Damien
Yay.
Giselle.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully there's a story.
Yeah, we'll find out, won't we?
That's right.
All right, let's talk to you guys next week then.
All right.
Yeah,
Take care,
buddy.
guys.
All right, later.
All right.